Hello everybody, happy December to you. Hope that you're having a good time. Got a little bit of progress done. It's only been about 3 weeks since my last video, which was supposed to be at the beginning of November, but didn't make it. But I did get some painting done at that point. I've kind of shifted my office around where I can paint further from the computer, because I have a tendency when I paint right here at my computer desk, and you see the keyboard there, to not only paint a little bit, but also then to reach up and play on the computer and end up playing like Warhammer Dark Tide or something to that manner. But, you know, the last video I had this guy done. Let's see if I can get the line a little bit closer. There we go. I had the Halloween kitty done, and Elvira, I believe, and still had the evil vampire / businessman to finish up, which he turned out pretty good. No, focus him. There we go. He turned out pretty well. And the Lady Frankenstein, here, let's move this line up a little bit more. One of the things, while I mentioned the moving the office around, one of the things that I moved was the lamp here on the right side of the keyboard, so that I could paint over on a foldable table. Whoop. And so I have a little bit less light here in my filming position. But she turned out really well. There were a couple things that I could have done better, but overall I felt that I did justice for the Halloween survivors. There we go. Got one little odd light here. Got Sergeant Ripper Jackson painted up. Well, I feel like I left her a little too dark, but then again, like, the theme is jungle camo, and so she doesn't really want to stand out in the thing, and her skin tone would be pretty dark from being out in the sun all the time and everything. But I still feel that I did okay with her. The jungle base was fun to paint up, going through and picking out the leaves and stuff. The big plant I could have done a little more, but I mean, you get to the point where you could always do a little more, and then if you did that, you would just sit there and do the same model for like 20 years. And I've got so many in the box that I need to get around to. I did get Shield Captain Artemis here, Watch Captain Artemis primed up. I used Vallejo's airbrush primer for him because it's easier to do the multiple angles, and I've had in previous times, whenever I've primed the model that has a lot of busy poses and where it blocks airflow, and I use the rattle can, I'll gunk up the primer. And so I decided to try the Vallejo through the airbrush, and it worked out pretty good. I did go back through and touch up some stuff. Like this guy here, he's a good example. There is, let's see, yeah, right here on his leg, the primer got really thick on his leg and began to obscure some of the details and fill in the text here on his leg and stuff. And it's one reason why I haven't finished him. There actually is no other reason, so I just need to, and I'll do that while I watch The Last of Andor. But he's one of the few from the beginning of the Indomitus, the 8th edition of Warhammer, that I've actually painted up. Him, and who else? There's one other one. Is there? No, I think he may be it. Ah, crap, I need to get my ass going. I did paint up a LimboDivision model. She's a bit taller than the others. I guess she could be considered a sexy Ogren in 40K, though then there would be a lot more respect for humans if they could pose like this. But this is Misswarm J, the 75mm version of her. I did her face really well, I thought. Her face turned out really well. And then the rest of her clothing kind of turned out a little chunky on the highlights. I actually stopped painting her because as I painted her, I would mess something up and then have to fix that. And then when I fixed that, I would mess something else up and it just started getting into a cycle. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to fix this little thing, and then I'm going to put her down before I mess her up completely. But she turned out pretty well. I liked her. It makes me want to get into my other LimboDivision models that I've bought and paint them up. If you're into the pinup style models like this, LimboDivision makes some really good high quality resin casts. They do come from China, so I mean you do have to wash the blood of the oppressed off your purchase, but you know, yeah, good resin, so it's like 50-50. But yeah, the models are really good. And they have a large variety. They have about 2 or 3 things come on sale every year. Like they'll have 2 or 3 times where they premiere new products. One of those will be this coming Sunday, December 4th. So take a look out there. They'll have 35mm and 75mm. I buy the 75mm because I'm getting old. And like the detail for these guys, I had to constantly wear my goggles. And like I'm working on this Kingdom Death model, and I cannot do any of the detail without my goggles, without my jeweler's glasses, I guess is the best way to put it. And I featured this lady on one of my other ones this year when I got her. She's the like not Winter Solstice Lucy, but something like that. She's a wintertime thing, and I'm going to paint her up and then put her into this little snow globe. Not as an actual snow globe. I'm not going to fill it with water because that's all acrylic paint, and so it would just eventually slowly and steadily strip her out. Was kind of disappointed with this one from Kingdom Death. It's really easy to see here, but this is a 3D printed version of their models, and you can really see the print lines all over her. And so I was not excited about that at all. And I'm sure there is some way to fix that. I'm sure there is some way, like if I was doing some sanding to get like the supports off, like the whole bottom of the snowman had little nubs from the supports where they did the 3D printing. And the resin was kind of, it was sanding off, but it was also becoming soft as I sanded it. And so I was really afraid to sand any of this detail here to where I would just end up with a pile of mush. And I'm sure there was some way to have done that and made it work out fine. But you know, overall, it's not too bad. And if I put her into the snow globe and do a little bit of snow dust around everything, it'll probably work out pretty fine and be okay. But anyway, that's her. She's on my list. After I get her done, I think I'm going to switch to some scale models because I'm getting into I like doing the figures, but I just need to take a break. And my oldest kid has bought a Revell Huey helicopter, 148 scale helicopter. Is it 48 or is it 32nd? I think it's 32nd. 132nd scale helicopter. And he's working on that one. And the kit's pretty rough. It's an older mold. There's a lot of flashing, and not all the pieces fit together. But and so I'm going to be doing a lot of help for that. And I figure I can give me an excuse to build like some of the old kits I've got, or even one of the Star Wars Bandai kits. But that's my progress. I had bought some new ones. Like I said, I ordered these LimboDivision models back in July, I think, and they came here about 2 weeks ago. And here I'll show you the way the resin looks. They come in these little tins. Holy cow. There we go. They come in these tins filled with foam and also outgassing resin smell. And the models come in their resin pieces. Come with their little, they have the exact same base for 35mm and then a smaller version for the, small version for 35 and the larger version for the 75. And you can see the pieces are, like this lady's in a lot of pieces. Not all of them are in as many pieces. Usually, when you put them together, the gaps are not big. There's not much flashing. There's not much problems. See, I got number 16. Comes with a hard plastic card with a picture of how the model should look if you have any skill at painting. So, of course, mine will not look like this. Oh, this one has a little paper. This has a paper for the instructions if you want to put it right side up. Like I said, this one has a lot more pieces than normal. There's 3, 6, 9, or however many, 6, 7, and it has a little bit of her backstory here. She's a hard-up Sonic waitress or something to that manner. So she has to do hits on the side along with selling burgers. But they come in these really good tins. I mean, the tins themselves can be used for, if you want to use them for a dice tray, it'd be really loud. Or if you want to put dice into it to carry from place to place, or something to that matter. They're just good tins. I've got let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 empty tins that I don't know what to do with, but I just keep them because they're cool, and my wife can dispose of them after I die. So, and if I buy any more models, that may come sooner than later. But yeah, there's that one. This one is Elsa Ice. Yeah, there we go. The food bunny. Because, I mean, it is a pinup. It is not anything else but a pinup. Not all of them are as blatantly pinup style. Some of them are actually more blatantly pinup style. They actually ran, back at Easter, they ran some battle bunnies, which, not bunnies as in pinups, but actual rabbits in mech suits and stuff like that. Like here is Kitsune Julia QB. I guess it would be the Jeff. Yeah. Anyway, she's a fox lady. Julia Gina. And again, it has the little backstory, has her instructions. You see, she's not quite as penny uppy. She's got the foxtail and everything. I guess that's sheer clothing. I don't know if I'll be able to manage that. I'll just give her a normal bodysuit. There we go. Put her back in. This one was not number 16. This one was number 112. But again, you can see, let's pull these pieces are bigger. I'm not as worried about losing them. Let's pull them out and you can see some resin. See, here's one of the foxtails. This will be interesting to glue on. You can see the resin cast is fairly good. I'm having to look at it over the camera to make sure that I'm not BSing. Yeah, there's not much of a mold line. There's a little bit right here. Let's see, here's another tail. Oh look, it's got like a computer interface, and well, she could be AdMech. Yeah, run her as a tech priest and see how angry people get. Let's see there. There's not much. There's a little bit roughness here on the back of her calf. But overall, I mean, yeah, who wears shoes like that? If you do wear shoes like that, kudos to you. I hope you have a good podiatrist. But see how this one, the tails make up most of the pieces, and then the body. Got an arm, the leg will go. See how it's got the nice slot, and it fits right in. There won't be much gap filling needed, and honestly, if you work at it, you can probably get her to fit in. You will see that they have just kind of free-floating pegs for the base, and there's no holes in the base. You drill your own holes. I mean, if you're buying a resin pinup model, at least a little bit of standard style of gluey model building. There we go. All right, she must do a lot of squats. Well, there you go. But again, they are mostly pinups. So if pinups aren't your thing, don't get into those. If pinups are your thing, I recommend them. like you saw, usually a limited run of 500. They do some encore stuff, like 2 of the models that are being released on Sunday are encore, some older kits. I think I'll skip those just because I have, I finished, let's see, 2 of these on my own, which one of them was the Talon set from earlier this year, where it's 5 models on a big scenic base, and then Misswarm J. And then I had one commissioned with Electric Eve from England, and she did the Kelly Speed one for me. And so that gives me some cool tins. Got some more Kingdom Death as well. I liked these Halloween Survivors so much, I ordered the second set of Halloween Survivors, which you've got like the White Lion, the Screaming Antelope costume. Let's watch out, we don't want to hurt the Watch Captain. I have no idea which one that one is. Maybe the Phoenix? I don't know. And then Gorm. I've never played the game, but I mean, I do find it amusing that these guys are in like cutesy Halloween versions of horror monsters, which is totally fitting for Halloween costumes. I got Oktoberfest Aya, which again, very pinup. That one is a 75mm and a 35mm style. And then I got the goth lady, Urza of Deadheim. So I guess Deadheim is pretty just like the Death City. But it just looks like a cool, just shoot if you just keep the box cover, it's pretty cool. But this one and the Oktoberfest and the other one are all hard plastic. See, this one actually comes with cards where you can play the game with her as one of your survivors. But again, you can see the larger pieces for the 75mm and then the smaller pieces for the 35mm. So this will be an interesting build when I get around to it. Holy cow, she's in a million pieces, isn't she? Yeah. Alright, well that's going to be fun. And Kingdom Death does kind of the same thing, where they just give you a generic base and then you can either use it or use whatever you like. There we go. Nice little 3x5 postcard. You can see my light glaring on here. Anyway, I've waxed on a little bit too poetically. I've gotten a couple other things. I ended up ordering my own Christmas present, which was completely and utterly not pinup. It was a there was the guy, Andy's Hobby Headquarters out in Arizona, and he found a whole shipping container full of wingnut wings, backlog or stock, unopened, unsold, just pretty much straight from the factory, and he put them up on his website for retail, and I ended up buying a couple of those kits just because I want to get back into some scale modeling, and those alone will, if I hang on to them for a few years after buying them at retail, I will be able to sell them and send the kids to college. Because one of the kits I bought was a large twin-engine bomber from World War I, 32nd scale. It's about like a 2 feet, 2.5 foot wingspan or something like that, as a kit. And those have been running for like $700 and $800 on eBay. And I'll end up trying to build it. But maybe, and if I don't end up trying to build it, I will put that one up on for sale and see how high the rocket goes. But anyway, that's more than enough. It's almost 20 minutes. I meant to do a 5-minute video, but here I am still talking. And I hope you guys are having fun. I'm ready for Christmas time, I guess, because then I get to play with the kids and go visit the in-laws down in Atlanta. Do all sorts of stuff and try not to break my models that I just painted up. So, but that's not a bad progress for the month. 4 models completed. One of them from washing the resin to priming to painted, and yeah, it's not a bad paint job, if I say so myself. For my own skill level and what I expected myself to be able to do. Anyway, I'll talk at you later. Adios.